Hey, it's me, Monte. Happy Thursday. Happy Groundhogs Day. I'm on time, so I'm late. I'm gonna go make some copies real quick. What am I copying, you ask? Groundhogs Day things I printed yesterday, a math page. So we're going to do that, but it has to be, let me see, the winter one because he did not see his shadow. So we're going to do this winter one, addition, subtraction. Maybe we'll do both. But that will just be for funsies. What else am I going to do? I'm going to do a flip chart. I'll link these below. It's Groundhog's Day. And as I explained to the kids, it's just a silly little day that we talk about. There's this flip chart about groundhog facts. I'm going to read a groundhog book on Epic, and we will fill that out. What else did I find? I found a ABC order for groundhogs. I'm going to do that. And then I found, all these I'll link below because I do not know who they came from, groundhog facts. And so I'm going to print these so we can read that with the class. And then I found a little tiny coloring of a groundhog that we will color, and we'll keep that on our desks, and that will be our groundhog pet. I'm gonna go make these copies. I'll see you at lunch. It's minimum day. Crazy week. I was out Monday. I was out half day Tuesday. Yesterday was our early out day, so we get out an hour early. And then Thursday, Friday are minimum days for conferences. I have 4 conferences for friends that need it. I'm gonna go make some copies, and then I'll see you at lunch. It's lunchtime. What did we do? We came in, we did our AR reading. It took longer than I expected them to, but they took their AR test. I had little erasers from the dollar spot way back when at Target, and they had Dogman on it, so I passed those out. A lot of the kids didn't know who this was. I think one kid knew that it was from a book, but Dogman's a higher series. So I handed those out, and they sat and they worked on their, excuse me, camera, they worked on their 3 sounds of ED. After about 25 minutes, I had them clean those up again and put them inside the containers in the middle just to hold them and keep them safe. And I let them know if you had chance, finish that. After that, we made our predictions. So I found this. I'll have to link it, and you'll have to save it for next. I was gonna say Valentine's Day. That's next. Groundhog's Day, but they made the predictions. I think Phil the groundhog. And then we talked about he will either see his shadow or he won't see his shadow. So I wrote on stickies, make your decision. And if you didn't see his shadow, if you think he didn't see his shadow, you copied that one. And if you think he did see his shadow, copy that one. So I wrote those and I left them there. And then we did a quick sketch. There's my little cartoon sketch of my groundhog. And I told them this is a cartoon sketch, not a realistic groundhog sketch. Realistic ones would have more detail. So we wrote our prediction, and then we watched the video from the news, 2 minutes. The gentleman with the hats, held him up, and they said their little poem of how I don't even remember, he didn't see his shadow. So we have 6, or he did see his shadow? I don't remember, but we have 6 more weeks of winter. And I told the kids again, this is not, this is not scientific. This is not real. This is just a thing that we play along with here in America. After that, we did math, subtraction within 20. That was their math for today. They had, back there, I have a tub that has connecting cubes and number lines. Our standard is they can do addition, subtraction within 20 using various methods. So if that's their method that they have to use, that's what they used. Some of them can do, counting back. Some of them just no. So whatever they did to get it done. This was staying at their seats, so in case they had time later on, they can work on it. So that's there. After that, I read Epic, and we made a little chart. I didn't want to copy. I have this chart. Oh, excuse me. I have this chart, and I didn't want to copy it, so I thought they would have more fun if they were able to draw it themselves. And so we drew him again, and we wrote can, have, are. I read a book from Epic, and we stopped every time we found something, and we wrote it down. And then they went to their seats, and there was 2 more books of groundhogs on Epic that would read to them. And so they sat and they listened, and they should have been writing down more information. Some kids my friends that need more support, they were just sitting there listening. They weren't really adding, and I was telling you, you can pause it and you can add whatever it says. But we're going to use this for some writing. We come back in about 8 minutes. So what do I have left over? We're probably going to get through some of them. I for sure want to do the writing, and I want to do Lexia. And then we will listen to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory right now, and do our little calming. When they come in, we do a calming YouTube video or Go Noodle. We listen to our chapter from Charlie, and then we finish whatever we need to finish. So when we come in, we're going to do the writing using what we have. So I need to go take copies of that. And then we will do Lexia for sure. They wanted to go to PE. They said we missed PE yesterday and they wanted to go today. So we'll see if we make it out to PE. But I have 6 minutes to eat my lunch, and then after school I'm going to get my things ready because my first meeting's at 1. So after school I'm going to get my things ready for my 2 students. Today I need to test them on fluency. I'm going to test them, and then I'm going to test them on high frequency words, and I think that's it, and the BPSTs. And so I'm going to do those 3. So while they're doing Lexia, I'll pull them and test those 3 students, or those 2 students, on those things so that I have up-to-date information besides their STAR test, because just having the STAR test isn't enough. So I want to show the other parents, you know, this is what I have for your child. This is where they should be, and this is where they are. And so I'm going to do that after school. I'll print all the things that I need for my meeting, but I have 5 minutes. I just brought cereal, simple lunch, because it is 10:45, and I'll see you after school. Hey, it's after school. I just had a meeting with a parent. I think I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'm gonna leave campus, come back. I don't have my next meeting until 3:20. That's when the parent said she can come. And since I'm only meeting with my Reds, I said okay. So 3:20 is in 2 hours. Have to wait 2 hours. Do something for 2 hours. Maybe clean my desk. So I'm gonna go find something to do. At the end of the day, we wrote our writing. So we did this during the day, and then we wrote our sentences. So, you know, today's Groundhog's Day, groundhogs, and then I said you have to pick 2 things from what groundhogs can do. So then they wrote their 2 sentences. And then I said, okay, we have to write 2 things from what groundhogs have. And so then I gave them time and they wrote their sentences. I didn't do any writing. They did it all. And then the last one I said, okay, you then tell me 1 thing about what groundhogs are. And so they wrote their sentences. I wrote mine after, and I read it to them. I gave them time to read it to each other. A lot of the sentences were the same because we had the same information, most of us. My friends that did write extra, some of them had extra information about how they hibernate, how they live for 20 years, I think one said, or they're 20 inches long, something around there. But some of them did have different information because when they sat and listened to Epic, they wrote things down. We'll do that again when we get to informational text. Today was just like an extra. When we get into informational text, they will have more time to learn how to take notes, to learn how to write information down, because that is a learned skill. They're not gonna be able to do it right away. That's why we did this together to start, so that way everybody had something to write with. Yesterday, or on my Wednesday, my last vlog, I talked about how I was gonna cut and use my snip tool to make something better for me. So I don't remember where the original was. The original had just 1 line for the opinion. I wrote opinion right there, and I gave it 2 lines. And then I cut this, copied it, and I used the 1, 2, because first graders have to give a reason according to our Common Core. I'm making them give 2, so I'm above and beyond. And then our conclusion. So what I got rid of was a 3rd reason, and then I made it this bigger. And so that's how I made it better for me in my classroom. So I'm gonna use this. Tomorrow I'll get back to Wonders and Zern. I guess I'm gonna be doing week 3 next week also, because I didn't do it yesterday. I did it yesterday. I didn't do it Tuesday, I didn't do it Monday. So we'll do week 3 next week also. So that way it has a full, you know, I went through everything. What's coming up? President's Day is coming up. So in my 2 hours that I have, I'll go ahead and pull President's Day, and I'll also pull Valentine's Day. I usually don't do like I did today with Groundhog's Day, but since today was a short day, I thought I'd make it work. And the kids enjoyed what we did, and so they still read, they still did math, they still did writing, but everything just revolved around groundhogs today. So I'll see if I can do the same thing for, I'm not sure, Valentine's Day, that's gonna be party, right? And then for President's Day, I always do something on Abraham Lincoln, and I always do something on George Washington. So we'll do that for President's Day week. So I'll pick either, we get off Friday and we get off Monday. So I'll pick one of those weeks to focus on President's Day. But right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for science, and I'm gonna see what science I can do tomorrow. And then from the science, with science, we'll also do Zern. We'll do our math lesson 11. I have to check to see if there's sing along tomorrow. Since it is a short day, there should be. But since it's a short day, I'm gonna see if there's sing along tomorrow. And then I'm gonna go grab something to eat and come back for my 3:20 appointment with the parent. And then I'll go home. But I'll see you all later. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll enjoy Friday together. Hey, it's Friday. You made it. What's the plan? It's Friday. Minimum day, we get out 12:15. So we're gonna come in, we're going to go to music, or we're not gonna come in, we're gonna go to music. Music is about 30 minutes, and then we'll come in. Everybody on Zern is where they're supposed to be or farther. So we're going to do some ST math time, and then we're going to get into our lesson. So on Wednesday, I did lesson 11, but it turned into more of like a number bond review. So we're going to do lesson 11 again. We'll do it whole group, and then we'll work on the worksheet that goes with lesson 11. So we're not going to do Zern today, but we're going to do ST math, and then we're going to do our lesson 11. We're going to read The Nice Mitten again. We read it on Wednesday, and that was it. So we read it on Wednesday, and we did not do the vocabulary. So we'll read it again, and we're going to go over the vocabulary. And then next week, I'm just going to do week 3 again because I didn't get to it. It was, out Monday, out Tuesday. We did it Wednesday, but we didn't do it yesterday because of Groundhog's Day, and then we'll do it today. So it was spotty. So we'll do it next week, but I'm going to get the mitten, and we're going to watch the mitten, and I'm going to see if we can do compare and contrast of the nice mitten and the mitten. So how the stories are the same and how they are different, just because they're so close and the story's so much similar. So I'm going to cut things apart. I'm going to see if I can find my copy of the mitten, and then I'm going to start my Friday. We do get out early, so I probably won't see you at lunch. I'll see you after school, and we'll figure out what we're going to do next week. Kids are at lunch. What did we do? We did our math. We did we did music in the morning. We came here. We went over how everybody is on the right levels in Zern, so everyone got ST math time. When they were doing ST math, I pulled them for their little quiz, so they only had 4 questions, going over more than less than equal to. So they sat with me 3 at a time, and they were like, this is so easy, and they did their problems. For a lot of them, there weren't just digits. It was 3 10s, 5 1s, so they had to read it, and then the other side said 2 10s, 8 1s, and so they had to formulate the numbers in standard form in their little minds and then decide which sign goes with it. I had 5 that didn't pass, and then 3 that got 75%. There's only 4 questions, so they missed 1. Those 5 that didn't pass, they came with me when we were doing our seat work so I can watch them, and they had problems with our seat work, so I'm glad I pulled them. We did whole group lesson, going over lesson 11, like I said, and then we came to the carpet. So after I gave them time to work on the lesson, we came to the carpet and we started watching the mitten. I didn't tell them that it was going to be compared and contrast. I just let it to start play, and they started picking up like, oh, that's our story. And I was like, no, it's not, because our story is called The Nice Mitten. And then it started to play, and they were like, oh, in our story, a boy loses his Mitten is like, you're right, he does. And then it kept playing, and then they're like, in our story, and so they were comparing and contrasting right away. They, already said that they're animals, but there's different animals, and it's like, you're right. We haven't gone to the end, so when we come back, we'll finish watching. We'll do our calming, and then we'll finish watching. I'll skip Charlie and Charlie Factory today, and then we're going to do, I found this paper on TPT. This is a 3rd grade paper. Who is it from? Wendy Smith. Miss Wendy Smith put this on. Right here it said plots, and then it said themes. I erased it since this isn't really a 1st grade thing that we were going to go over. It just came to my mind. We come up with those great last minute ideas. I wrote problem, and then I wrote ending. So characters, animals and the boy. We can put that for both of them, but we can also say that they're different animals, so that way they can see how it's different. They're animals, but there's different kinds of animals. Settings are the same in the stories, outside in the snow. Settings the same. Problems can be the same. The problem is the boy loses his mitten and animals get into the mitten. Those can be the same. Endings are where they're going to be different. In ours, the mitten explodes because so many animals go in and he can't find it anymore. Where in this one, the animals pop out, but then the mitten goes back to the size and the boy finds it. So the endings are going to be different. Again, this is like a 3rd grade standard compare and contrast stories. Ours are, we compare and contrast how characters adventures are the same or something like that. So we do have a compare and contrast strategy, but we're not covering it with this story. It just, came to my mind. So we're going to do that. And then we have mystery science, and then it's probably time to go home. So that's what I have planned today. Am I going to get to fluency? No. Am I going to get to our vocabulary words for the nice mitten? Probably not. But we are going to work with the nice mitten when we're doing our comparing and contrasting. So I need to take a copy of this. If we have time, I found this, I'll link it down below, and I made copies of it. And so we're going to color. I'm going to give them colored pencils. I'm going to talk about warm colors and cool colors, and that way they'll do like a warm color heart, and then they'll do cool colors on the outside, or vice versa, depending on what they choose. So we're going to work on this, and then they get 1. And then I'll just use it for decoration on my walls. Right now I have things from December. I didn't switch it for, actually one is like a New Year's resolution thingy of something that they do well and something they want to do better at. And then the other one are ornaments that I haven't taken down because I had nothing to put up. So we'll do this, and then we will switch these out with the ornaments, and they'll take the ornaments home. And then next week I'll do another art activity that goes with February, and then we'll take down our New Year's resolutions and put those up. Those 2 boards that I have, I change with the season. The one that I have back here is just student work, and so if we do anything, which usually comes with our interactive read out loud, that's what I put over there. What I'm going to do for over there for this month is going to be their writing, opinion writing that we get to. Am I going to get to the opinion writing today? I don't know. I really want to do science, and I really want to finish this one. If you can tell, I wasn't very planned out in detail for each day this week. It was more of a, let's just survive the week. I know what I'm doing, but I just went with the flow. And sometimes it works out. And this week it did. A lot better week than last week. Last week was just, we needed to reset. I didn't do groups. I haven't done groups, and it's working out. So next week I'll do groups Monday, Tuesday. We'll see how they're doing, if they can handle it. If not, we'll just go back to a whole group and I'll watch them. But everything's working out. And this week is sunshine and roses, but I'll see you after school. And have my purse on, my lemonades in hand, and I'm gonna go home. Use my time wisely. I always use my time wisely. I fixed the slides for next week, which are the slides from this week, because I did not follow my curriculum for reading, because I'm not married to a curriculum. I need to go by the standards, and that's what I did this week. Those bright ideas that pop in your head, that's what I did this week, and it's all good. It's all okay. Next week, what do I have to finish up from this week? My, we didn't finish our mystery science, so we're going to finish mystery science. We need to write our final draft of our opinion paragraph, and then we're gonna have to start a new one, and then I have district testing that's due that I need to get done. So next week our prompt is going to be whatever the district assigned for our writing assessment. Those two things I have to finish from this week. I didn't finish everybody's fluency, but that's okay. I'll get it on Monday. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna enjoy my weekend, and I'll see you next time.